Hello team and family. We're going to be working on video number 4 about classifying rational numbers. So, I'm going to look at 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we'll look at these 4 numbers. So the first one, negative 13. So I know that whole numbers, I'm going to put below whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, ... They're positive, basically positive integers, and 0. Then I'm going to put above integers, negative 2, comma, and I'm going to put ... in front because it continues, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, ... And then rational numbers, a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, but be things like, let's see, 3 fourths, 2 fourths, 1 fourth, 0, then 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths. And there's a lot of numbers that work for rational numbers, but basically what we want to know is we put them in fraction form, and so that's like the key point. So I'm just putting these fractions here to remind me that whatever rational numbers are, they need to be in fraction form. So let's look at negative 13. So negative 13, I know it's not a whole number because whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, they're positive. But I do know that if I continue negative 2, I can even think about the number line. 0, I know that I'd eventually get to negative 13. So negative 13 is an integer. But what I also know is that anything that's an integer also is a rational number, because integers fall inside rational numbers. And if I wanted to write negative 13 as a rational number, I could do negative 13 over 1, and that'd be my rational number. So negative 13 is an integer and a rational number. It is not a whole number, so we can't classify it as that. Next one, 1/6. So I know that's not a whole number, it's a fraction. Integers are whole numbers and their opposites. That's not a whole number, and that's not an opposite of a whole number. So I know it's not an integer, but what I do know is that it is a rational number because it's in the form of a over b. A and b are both integers, and b is not 0. So I know that it's a rational number. And that's it. Next one, 0. So I see 0 in whole numbers, I see 0 in integers, and I see 0 in rational numbers in my little Venn diagram up there that I added on to. So 0 is actually a whole number. And if it's a whole number, it's pretty easy because then you know it's got to be an integer as well. And it also is going to have to be a rational number. So it's really all 3 things if it's a whole number. Next one, 99. I'm going to put the 1 underneath the decimal point, a 0 and a 0, underneath the 2 nines. So that's the same thing as 99 over 100. So 99 over 100, that's in fractional form. It's the same thing as like a over b. Both of those are integers. A and b are both integers. So I know that it's not a whole number because 99 over 100 is part over total, or part over whole. I know that's not an integer, but I do know that it's a rational number. I want to do one more. So I'm going to jump to number 15. So 15 is negative 14 and 1/2. I know that negative 14 1/2 is the same thing as negative 14.5. And I also know that if I wanted to change it from a mixed number to an improper, I can do 2 times negative 14 and then plus 1 over 2. So 2 times negative 14, I know we haven't practiced negatives yet, but we'll get there. 2 times negative 14 is negative 28, and then plus 1 is negative 29. So negative, I put that on. And then I have that over 2. So it's negative 29 over 2. And I actually want to jump back to something I said. I actually should have left the negative out till the end. So it's 2 times 14 is 28. 28 plus 1 is 29. And then just add the negative on at the end. And then put that over 2. So 29 over 2, or negative 29 over 2. There's an a over b. There's an integer on the top, an integer on the bottom. So I know that this is a rational number. Now, I know it's not a whole number though, because if I divided 29 by 2, I'll go back here and I'll get negative 14.5. The 0.5 makes it not a whole number, and also the negative makes it not a whole number. But it's not an integer as well, because it has that decimal, 5/10. And we know that to be an integer, it has to be a negative or a positive whole number. And so it's only a rational number. And those are the 5 that we just did.